Brian Little.
Hello grumpy golfers, I hope you are all well and welcome down to the new episode, the latest episode of A Golfer's Ramblings. Now then, the question I'm going to answer isn't a question that's been asked. It's a question that came to me today when I was, long and short of it, buying a new set of golf clubs. And is golf too expensive? That's the question. Is golf too expensive? And before I go into my rambling, I'll be interested to know your thoughts on this. So please pause the video, stick your comment down below, unpause the video, watch. So, is golf too expensive? The short answer is no. It isn't. Why is golf not too expensive when PXG or a full bag of PXG is going to cost you $7,500? How is that not too expensive? If you can't afford it, it's too expensive. If you can afford it, it's not too expensive. But there is something to cater for everybody's affordability. Now, you don't need to go out and buy a brand new set of custom fitted clubs. Nobody does, whatever their level really. I'm probably going to get shot when someone sees this video. But I've just gone and got a brand new set of custom fitted clubs, and I've just said you don't need to get custom fitted clubs. Anyway, you don't. It all depends on your personal, what your goals are regarding your game of golf. Obviously mine is I want to get back down to category 1, so 4 and below. So yeah, custom fitting for me is massively important. Okay, what goes in my bag is hugely important to my progression in the game. If you're just starting and you're learning, you don't need to be going out and spending £1,000 on a set of irons. That's ludicrous, because in 6 months' time, you may not enjoy the game. There's plenty of places where you can pick up cheap golf clubs. Okay, there's a number of people that have done this already. So Peter Finch has done his golf bidder challenge, as has Lloydie Golf, the face of amateur golf. He's done a golf bidder challenge. Okay, Peter Finch. Now this is, if you really want to save some money, if you're really getting into golf and you're just starting and you really don't know, Peter Finch did a charity shop challenge. He got a set, I'm sure, don't quote me on what set it is, but I'm sure it was a set of Callaway irons and some woods and whatnot, or whatever they were, for like 70 quid. Now, if you're just starting, 70 quid's not going to break the bank. And this is what I'm saying. You can, regardless of your financial status, to a degree, golf is not too expensive, because you will be able to find something through things like Golf Bidder, charity shops, eBay. You will find what you need. Yeah, when I first started playing golf again, because I had anyone that's followed my story, which I'm not going to get into, I had sort of a 6-7 year break, and when I come back to golf, for one reason or another, I didn't have any clubs. So I got on eBay, got a set of irons, a few wedges, putter, driver, and a fairway wood. I think I paid for everything about £250 and a bag. 300 quid all in all, total max, and that's the maximum. I'm going back a few years, maximum I spent on everything, because when I started again, I wasn't sure if I was gonna get hooked again. So I didn't spend the world. I spent what I could afford, and what, if I was gonna resell it, I wouldn't lose money on. Yeah. So the £300 I spent, I made back. Yeah. But that's down to mine. For things like that, you need to sort of know your market. So I knew I wasn't going to lose money on the things I bought. So 6 months down the line, I'm in the market. I need to upgrade, because okay, I've played for a little while, and so I bought myself another. Well, my next set were a birthday present, so I didn't pay for them. But again, within a budget. Now, this is what I'm saying, and this really is a ramble. If you've got £7,500 to go and spend on a full bag of PXG, by all means do it. You know, if you like PXG, they're giving you the best numbers. Let's not forget that. If they're giving you the best numbers, and if you're in the, obviously if you're looking at spending £7,500, you're going to be getting custom fitted. I'm going to make the assumption. So yeah, you're going to want the best numbers. So £7,500, if you've got that sitting around to go and buy a set of PXG, by all means, go and do it. that means you can afford it. That means golf's not too expensive. If you've got £500 to go and buy a second-hand set of, I don't know, Titleist AP2s, and you can afford it, go and do it. Golf's not too expensive. If you can afford a set of £99 Slazenger box set from Sports Direct, go and do it. Golf's not too expensive for you. The only time golf becomes too expensive if you can't answer that question is, I can't afford it. If you can't afford it, then golf becomes too expensive. But I think most people wanting to play golf could probably afford a £100 box set. That's generalising, obviously, but you know, and that's the hardware. Yeah. Now let's look at golf clubs, as in where we play the game. I've played at clubs. I've been a member at the Forest of Arden. Okay, so you're talking non-member, peak season, £70 to £100 a round. Now some people are going to look at it and think it's bloody expensive, but if you can afford it, it's not to play a premium course. The club I play at the moment is £26 for 18 hole and a breakfast. Again, nice club, completely the other end of the spectrum, much more relaxed. But again, £26, it's not too expensive. And now I know there's other courses out there that are like £10 for 18 holes, municipal courses. £10 for 18 holes, 4 hours of golf, that's not too expensive for anybody, you know. So yeah, I genuinely think that we spend too much time thinking of, is it too, a big question that you see battered around Twitter and YouTube is golf too expensive? And you know, whilst manufacturers brand new are putting the prices up and up and up, people look at that and think, geez, it's too expensive. But when you sort of step away from your brand new stuff, or your top end stuff, no, it's not too expensive. But while we're on the matter of cost and custom fit and new clubs, as I said at the start, I've just had my clubs ordered today, which were custom fit. Now, I've had different shafts in mind. I've had Modus, Nippon Modus Pro 3 120 Tour Stiff, something like that is what I've had in mind. Now, I've gone for Titleist this time around, so I've come away from Mizuno, and it was a £21 surcharge per club for that shaft. And then I asked the question, I says, why is the additional cost on that shaft? And the answer was because it's an exotic shaft. Now, I would have accepted that answer if there wasn't a set of Mizunos on the shelf with the same shaft in, albeit a 105 rather than a 130. How are you charging me an exotic shaft price or premium on a club that another manufacturer put in as a stock shaft? Titleist see it as an exotic shaft. I'll get my teeth in, because the stock shafts for Titleist are the AMT white and black by, I'm not sure, I think they're True Temper. Yeah, True Temper. But obviously those shafts are absolutely no good to me, so I've had to pay 21 quid extra. So a set of £900 irons have cost me in excess of £1,000. Now, I'm not complaining at the price, because, as I say, it's affordable for me at this moment in time. So, but what I don't or can't see how they can justify it as calling it an exotic shaft when other companies use it as their stock shaft. And what I also found out, which has quite annoyed me, when I got fitted, again, it comes down to, is golf too expensive? I got fitted for these clubs, so I've literally got the specs that was requested, and I priced up the driver. And when I said what flex it was, so I was fitted for TS3 9.5 in the Evan Flow White T1100 6.5, so Tour Stiff. And when I said to the guy that it was 6.5 that I wanted, oh, that's an extra £100. Why? Because again, the X-Flex is not a stock option, because they don't class it as a, because the amount of X-Flex customers they get is limited. They put a surcharge on it. I'm like, well, how can you justify that? It's the same shaft, it's just a little bit stiffer. Again, which is frustrating, obviously, due to, you know, X, Y, and Z, I haven't gone for the driver. at this moment in time. The driver will end up in my bag, of course it will. I would assume. So yeah, might not be a brand new one, but it will be the relevant driver. But as I say, back to let's rein it back in or digress. Is golf too expensive? No, it isn't. It genuinely isn't. Whatever your budget is, whatever your price point is, whatever your financial status is, you can buy clubs. You can play golf, be it as a member or as a pay and play golfer. It doesn't matter. There's enough handicap apps out there where you can track a handicap if you want to. You might not want to. You might just want to go out and have a knock with your mates. Then, you know, you can get golf clubs cheap enough. As I say, eBay, Golf Bidder, the second-hand shops. You know, so no, golf isn't too expensive, and it's really starting to rag me off the amount of people that are saying it is too expensive. And I think what's brought this to light for me is I had a conversation with a lady at work. And she said, "Oh, you must have a few quid if you can afford to play golf and buy all this golf equipment." I think if that's obviously I explained to her X, Y, and Z, and she sort of got the gist of it at that point. She said, "All right, fair enough." But it's that perception that golfers have got a wad of cash because it's an expensive sport. No, it isn't. Golf's as expensive or as cheap as you want to make it. If you want to go out and buy the premium stuff, crack on. If you can afford to do that, crack on. Again, what's making things more accessible is interest-free credit. It makes those premium brands more affordable to a lot more people. Not everybody, but a lot more people. You know, so yeah, golf isn't too expensive. Golf is accessible to everyone, and we really need to get that out there. Like everybody, we need to get it out there that golf isn't too expensive and golf is accessible to everybody, regardless of your financial status. And it goes back to the dress code conversation of a previous Golfers Ramblings. And yeah, not only does golf need to relax on dress code, it needs to relax on the perception of the game being expensive, because it isn't. As I say, golf can be as expensive or as cheap as you want to make it. And I think it's really important for everybody that wants to get into golf that they look at that and they look at the whole picture of it, and the fact that it can be cheap, and it can be really cheap if you want it to be. On the flip coin, it can be really, really expensive. As I say, full set of PXG, driver down to putter including the bag, $7,500. That's a lot of dough, that is. Personally, if I had $7,500, I wouldn't be buying PXG because I don't like them. But you see where I'm coming from. You know, if you've got it, you can afford it, crack on. If you haven't got it, go for something in your budget. Yeah, and that's the way to go. So yeah, golf's not too expensive at all. It's as expensive if you want to make it. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. That literally was a mad ramble, so I apologise. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up. And as I say, leave your comments on what your opinions are on whether you think the game's too expensive or not. And I'll be interested to see what you think. Take care, guys. I will see you again soon.